everything you just said, man, about Amari Cooper. Well, I totally agree. I think it's a thumbs up for me because dynamic route runner, and like you said, Jared Goff needs pieces that knows what the hell they're doing. You know what I'm saying? He's not the guy that just got to learn that teach guys on the fly, man. You know what I'm saying?
He's a
You got
vet.
to be right. You got to be able to know what you're doing so he can trust you and everything works out. Because if you got to work out a relationship with him, it's going to be a waste of money, in my opinion, for 1 year. I'd rather obviously have him than Charles Godwin. I know they're different kind of receivers, but anytime you get free agency, you always looking at guys that's 30 and north of 30, which for me, that's the magic number. That's why they hit free agency to begin with, because age is kind of on their not on their side anymore. But I do think Amari Cooper, I would absolutely uh kick the tires on Amari Cooper, man. Fidel, I'll let you take it because I know Fidel, you real familiar with Amari Cooper because he played there in Vegas, Oakland for a little while. So, but yeah, it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I mean the key question is how much money and what kind of year contract is in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I mean he's kind of moved around a lot, so he's probably looking for some stability, right? And probably a winning situation as well. He was great for the Raiders, and then when they traded him to Dallas, I don't think he wanted to leave Dallas. He had a great year with the Cowboys,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
our wide receiver help, he's probably unless I'm missing someone um, to be on there. So
yeah.
yeah, obviously he's going to go somewhere. Question is where? Um, does he want to go to New England? I don't know how much of a winning situation that's going to be over there, but he'll probably
No,
be
no
one or two
quarterback stability either, though.
in
Like
New
I'm
England.
pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure as well. I mean, they've got their well.
They got Drake May.
We can't really, yeah, but I mean,
Mhm.
that's still no quarterback security because he's a rookie. Well, he's
Yeah,
coming off his rookie season, so that situation is still
but
providing a
Yeah,
lot of,
um,
instability.
the other one that I was thinking about was Arizona.
yep, yep. That'd be a good pick for him. Yep, I was just gonna say that. Walt was representing they hat today. I was
Perhaps.
like, yeah, that would be good
Yeah,
because if you figure Harrison, what's the other kid? I can't think of his name off the top of
14.
my head.
Can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
yep, him. Uh,
They don't
uh,
spend money over there
Michael
though.
Wilson. They got Michael Wilson. think yeah, but I think that would be ideal. Another team I was kind of thinking was um in our division. It's almost like Minnesota. I mean, it may seem funny, but Minnesota kind of needs that stability around JJ McCarthy as well. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of thinking,
He might not even play next year. This from what I read. He's got a lot of rehabbing to do still. But who
that's
knows?
that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting for what they would the direction that team is going in. But yeah, like you said, I think Brad Holmes here in Detroit has the last 2 years has gotten like last year we needed a corner, right? Like we kind of knew in the draft, we kind of knew maybe free agency and Carlton Davis was the best guy you can get. You know what I'm saying? The year before that, he's dove into the free agent pool, since he's been here, and I think he's always been good at least getting the best guy available. So that for instance, I know Brad Holmes is got his antennas up. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that he's probably looking at this and saying the same thing we all just said. Like we need the stability at quarterback. We need our offense can't be the one that's the tires are sputtering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not now, not
Yeah,
now. We
not
got
now,
too
man.
many questions on defense. We got guys,
Right.
big name stars coming back from injuries and whatnot. I just felt that, like, if you look at us offensively, we talked about it in the pre-show. St. Brown, you know what St. Brown is. He's the slot guy, the underneath guy. He does all the dirty work. He gets a lot of free releases, which helps him get a lot of those short passes, turn those short passes into first downs. Jamison Williams is the deep threat. He's the vertical guy, the posts, the corners, the flies, the hitches, the screens, the guy that you just want to get the ball in his hands so he can go ahead and make some things happen. Cooper is the perfect bridge between those two guys because he makes up for everything those two guys lack. Now, like we said, it comes down to whether or not you think Brad Holmes would actually pay Cooper not 30, but 20 million. He's 30. He's coming off, I think, statistically one of his worst seasons. Even what he had in Buffalo, he had a case of the drops last season. He had a couple issues he was dealing with. But now, what could be beneficial for a team like the Detroit Lions or whoever, Washington Commanders, Arizona Cardinals, Eagles for that matter, you just never know with the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. You may be able to get him on the low now. Even though $20 million for a wide receiver in this day and age is sort of like the low, is becoming the low for that matter. But it just comes down to what he wants at this point in time, I think, in his career, what he's happy with. Fidel, you mentioned the fact that he may want stability now. He's moved around a lot since he left the Raiders, for that matter. So maybe he's a guy who wants to bounce back from the situation he was in. He went from Cleveland to Buffalo in one season, for that matter. So he had a lot on his plate in regards to that as well. Maybe if he did get to a team like Detroit or whoever, it may be a winning organization. Maybe it's not 20 million. Maybe it's 16. Maybe it's 15, 14, 17 or whatever. I just think that for a team that does need as much help as possible around Jared Goff now, especially considering the fact that the OC is gone, that connection that they had can't be slept on. And I think you just need to help him out as much as possible. A guy like Amari Cooper would help out this receiving corps tremendously. Because I do like Tim Patrick, but Tim Patrick is no Amari Cooper.
I think the magic number is anywhere between 10 and 15. That's where I like Amari Cooper's number to be at. Of course, he wants.
That's
more
very
money,
doable then.
That's
yeah,
doable.
I
I would
think
do
it's
that.
doable.
I would do that. Yeah.
But you know what? After looking at this receiver list, he's actually not the best receiver available. Chris Godwin is. I know he's coming off injury.
He's always coming off injury. When is he not?
I think he's probably the best receiver on there, though. Over Mark Cooper, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think with Cooper comes along with what comes along with Cooper is the mental stuff. Like, and they've talked about this since Alabama. It seems like he's not always there consistently on a week-to-week basis.
I just don't know what Buffalo was doing with him last year. Why'd you trade for him?
What were they doing with Keon Coleman?
The same thing.
What were they doing with anybody?
Yeah, well, Keon got hurt. Yeah, I just thought the continuity. It's hard to be, I think that Buffalo's in the same position like Baltimore. Like their receivers, because it's sort of like their quarterback is so dynamic, and it's like sometimes you could maybe run a perfect route, right? If you Amari Cooper, he's running a perfect route, but then you turn around or you get where the ball's supposed to be. And Josh Allen already 20 yards up the field, man.
Freestyling
it. Yeah, so I think a lot of times that's part of it. It's very hard to be and I think Amari Cooper's skill set fits a Jared Goff, because I think that he needs to know I get to that spot, Jared gonna have the ball there, and I think that's what Jared Goff's strengths are. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's why I think like Rashad Bateman has struggled, because I think he's more of a guy that, hey, you go to that spot 10 yards and turn around. You know what I mean? And it's very difficult to get a read on free agency, because I do believe this. This is the one thing I do believe. I think that if a team lets a guy go to free agency, that's kind of telling a lot, man, to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if you wanted this guy, he wouldn't be in free agency. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not saying he's not a good player, but it's just the organization's made their decision on this guy. You know what I'm saying? So, go ahead, Fidel.
Yeah, and it's the money situation too. I mean, some teams, they want to keep players, but obviously they can't, because they got to get ready, because they got to play, X, Y, and Z player. You're sitting there right now with the Niners. They got to pay Brock Purdy. Are they going to pay him top dollar? Probably not, right? But you already saw Deebo Samuel wants out, so they got to get rid of him, right? You paid McCaffrey, you paid Ayuk, and now you're going to pay Purdy. So Greenlaw's probably going to be gone too.
Yeah. Yep.
He's a free agent. I don't think he's going to be back.
Yep.
Well, keeping it on the Raiders, there's not the Raiders, but the 49ers. There's another guy in Shadarius Ward, who has his best
Top
years
corner
in Kansas City, and granted he had the issue he had last season, tragedy he had to deal with, but is this a guy that teams want to take a chance on? I mean, he's still not far removed from playing like really high level football, So the money in the market is still going to be out there for him, but is
Nope.
Ward worth it? Because
Nope.
looking at it
Not for
because
me.
we're looking at all this from the Lions and Raiders
Um,
perspective, Ashanti. What do you think is he another guy that's worth it? Because we can go through the cornerback list, and
DJ
he's
Reed,
still
man.
Yeah.
relatively young. DJ
I want
Reed.
DJ Reed. That's the guy. If we get DJ Reed, boy, I'll be doing the backflips. I mean, that's the guy I want. You know what I'm saying? I think that out of all these guys, man, yeah, like Fidel mentioned, Chris Godwin is 28. He'll be 29 when the season starts. Khalil. Oh, yeah, here's my guy right here. He's number 6 rated in PFF right now. Walt, 28 years old. DJ Reed.
Yeah.
He's constantly. To me, I think he's better than what people give him credit for. It's just amazing because I think Sauce Gardner took the league by storm a couple years ago, and this is another guy that's like that plays at the same, on the other side. I think he's kind of underappreciated a little bit. I think the Jets, obviously, I don't think he's a guy that they're going to re-sign him. I think he probably wants out of that situation, maybe all the drama and all of maybe, obviously Aaron Glenn's over there now. I just think that he's a solid. I think he's one of the top free agents in this class. I really do, man. Regardless of position. So for me, I would like Carlton Davis I would be upset we got Carlton Davis back, but I think DJ Reed's a little bit better than Carlton Davis in my
How
opinion.
much money is Brad gonna pay to
It's
those high premium positions though, like corner and left tackle and edge rusher and
True.
quarterback?
That's true.
Because you know
you guys got to get ready to pay some players
That's right.
too.
Aiden Hutchinson.
I'm just saying,
Aiden Hutchinson.
Well,
I
yeah, even
agree. I
Carlton
mean,
things are
Davis.
coming up.
Like, are you willing to pay Carlton $20 million a year? And
He's,
honestly,
he's a free agent right
he
now,
was
right?
our
yeah,
best corner this season. But
yeah.
I think a lot of it.
He broke
Yeah,
his
sorry
jaw,
about that. I
right?
just think a lot of it has to do with us coming into 2025 and realizing that it's sort of like even in the NBA. To this day, when people see a player making 16, 17 million dollars a year in the NBA, they say, "Oh, what the hell? That player is not worth that. That money's crazy." The market is what dictates all this. Even like if you look at the guard money has grown up substantially the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like Trey Smith in Kansas City, who I think is a good guard, he just had a rough Super Bowl. Everybody had a rough Super Bowl, but he's a guard that's going to probably be around $17 million a year if
Yeah,
he hits
Ronnie
free agency.
Stanley. He's on that list too. Ronnie Stanley. Hey, Ronnie
Yeah.
Oh,
Stanley is kind of on the older side too, man. He's pushing. He's north of 30. I think it was. I had him down here. Yeah, 30. Yeah, he's 31. He'll be 31 when the season starts. Yeah, on that.
oh,
Well, he's more of a tackle, but yeah. I mean, I agree, man. The reason why I think, um, you know, that the Lions are in this position because I think what I'm saying in a good way. I think Brad Holmes doesn't waste money, man. You know what I'm saying? But Mosley was like the only guy, like you said in the pre-show, that we haven't gotten anything out of Mosley for $20 million, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just that's been like just tragic what's happened to that kid, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think the intentions were good, you know what I'm saying, when we signed him, but it just hasn't panned out. So another guy that I like is what's the guy from San Francisco that's been hurt the last couple of years, Hafanga. Nah,
We
yeah,
don't
there
need
you
another
go.
one of them.
oh, you
Yeah,
think?
yeah,
we
right.
already got Mosley from there.
Yeah. Hafanga, he's another guy I
Mhm.
really like, but I don't think he's not
Yeah.
of need though. I'd be some shocked. You know what I'm saying? But I offensive line is where remember we went. It sounds like Kevin Zeitler wants to come back. You know what I'm saying? That was a spot that I was that's a question mark for me. I really do think out of all the spots, and we know we need defensive end help, receiver help, Walt, but I think that offensive line, I'm really worried about our offensive line, man. Just getting some stability opposite Penei Sewell, and Kristen Mahogany, man, at this point. You know what I'm saying? Frank Ragnow. But I do think the Zeitler, Glasgow, Decker part of the line. I think that's something to look at, man. That's all I'm saying. It would Trey Smith fit? I don't know, man. It'd have to be. I think whoever Brad Holmes comes out and signs, and maybe Fidel can go the Raiders route. I do think it's going to be bargain bin shopping. I do because, like you said, you got other guys' contracts that you got to settle up, and you don't want to,
I'm gonna ask you this though.
you're not going to handcuff the rest of the team for a free agent.
I'm gonna ask you this though, then I'm gonna pass it to Fidel because I'm pretty sure Fidel, watching the Kansas City Chiefs over the past few years, he knows a decent amount about Trey Smith. We know about Trey Smith coming out of Tennessee, scouted him and all that good stuff. He's 25.
Yeah.
He's the same age as Christian Mahogany, I think, right? So I'm guessing for the most part that if you make the financial investment in Trey Smith from Kansas City, you're making a long-term investment because he's still relatively young. So if I decide to give him 24, you giving him what, maybe a $75 million deal,
4 years, yeah.
roughly 20 million, 18 and a half a year. Um, I'm cool with that. Like I said, I'm a Trey Smith fan. I was a Trey Smith fan coming out of college. Um, did he, if I'm not mistaken, he made All Pro this season, didn't he? Or he made All Pro last season.
I think last season.
Last season. Yeah. So, the proof is in the pudding. Now, what are the Chiefs' plans? Because I don't think he's going to leave. I think the Chiefs understand wholeheartedly, like, listen, the best part of your offensive line is the interior. That's Humphreys and that's him. That's Creed Humphrey and then that's Trey Smith. You can't start letting good players go because it's not that easy to replace good offensive linemen with just more offensive linemen, good offensive linemen. We've seen that in Detroit, and I think Brad Holmes is going to understand that this offseason if they didn't understand it last offseason. So I think he's a guy that you could potentially view as maybe worth it. He's the number one rated guard by PFF coming out. Tevin Jenkins. Now, Tevin Jenkins is interesting because remember, he was the guy that we had some eyes for coming out of college. The Bears took him a couple years ago, but they willing to let him walk. So that comes back to what you guys were just saying about, okay, if your team willing to let you walk away, how valuable are you? Especially when there's injuries involved.
Well, look, man, it's the same. It's a business decision as well. I mean, can you really afford to pay this player this year when you got to pay one of your top players the following year? I mean, there's a cap thing going on, and that's why a lot of these teams they can't re-sign their players even though they want to. For example, I know we're going to sound like a broken record, but T. Higgins, he's out there, right? And he is the true number one receiver available.
Oh yeah, love T. Higgins. Right? Yep.
Still young too.
26
too. Yeah, but even I think Joe Burrow's been on record saying he'll restructure his contract so that way there's more money for them to bring back, T. Higgins. But you think Cincinnati wants to let him go, let him walk?
They need to.
But they
need to start paying other people, man. That is like the most unbalanced football team in the league right now, man. They got to start paying some other people. You can't pay. So you're going to have, two $30 million receivers and the quarterback and not going to pay anybody else?
They're not going to. Obviously, he's going to leave. But I'm saying they would like to keep him, but they can't. They got to make business decisions. Because how much money are they going to give Chase?
$40 million.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Yep.
It's going to be north
down
of
the
30.
road. You're going to have to pay Chase Brown, the running back. He had a tremendous year.
Yeah, I love Chase Brown. Yep.
Chase Brown, very versatile back. You're going to have to pay him in a couple of years. You don't like Chase Brown?
No, I like Chase Brown, but
the offense is way different when he was out there.
Do they have to? Though? I mean, if we're just looking at the running back position. And then we're talking about Cincinnati. They don't pay anybody either, let alone a Chase Brown.
They definitely don't pay the offensive line.
If they don't start doing that, you're going to have another Carson Palmer situation. And Joe Burrow is a little bit more outspoken than Carson was, as I remember. So,
Yep, it may be a situation where he grows sour on the team, man, because he's not going to just keep going out there and putting up, MVP numbers, man, and just didn't even make the, amount to 8 wins. You know what I'm saying? It looked good on film. It looked good for highlight reels, but ultimately you're not winning because you got a below average roster around 2 guys. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati a mess, man, contractually. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Saints. I think the Saints are like the only team in the NFC with like they're negative in the salary cap, if I'm not mistaken. They got so much dead money on that team, man. The Saints are in trouble. It's a mess. Contract. So they need, in turn, the way you combat that, you need cheap players. So they gotta draft well. For 2-3 years on rookie contracts. And for the
And
most
not,
part, the
yeah,
Bengals have. They have. They took what the guy won. They took Miles Murphy a couple years ago. I really liked him. Coming out of Texas. DJ Turner from Michigan. What's the other kid? I can't think of the top of my head on defense, but they've got a couple guys. Since they lost Jesse Bates. What's the other receiver that came up with LA? What's his name? Asovas or
yeah,
Isovas or whatever. Yeah. So
he's
they got
Savant, so
they got
wrestle,
that
yeah.
kid out of nowhere, man. You know what I'm saying? So you figure his role would kind of grow bigger, and like you said, with the running back situation, it's phenomenal. Really like the Chase Brown, but yeah, T going somewhere else. It's funny to kick around. Where do you think he's gonna go, man? Because according to PFF, I mean they got him guaranteed getting at least 67 million guaranteed, which is like 4 years, 112 million. That's the same contract Amon-Ra St. Brown got, if I'm not mistaken, 4 years for 112. So
Come to Las Vegas.
yeah,
Come to Las Vegas. Open arms. Him and Jacoby Myers. A
yeah,
1-2 punch.
yeah.
Speaking of Vegas, I don't know about Higgins, but I'm actually about Zach Martin. Martin still a good football player, 10-year vet. Um, I'm not sure if he's going to be back in Dallas. I'm not sure if he really wants to be back in Dallas. While we talking about interior, now Zach is what, 36, 35, I
He's older.
believe.
Yeah, he's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But he does have some center and guard versatility. For a team like the Raiders, you got a guy in Pete Carroll now. I expect Pete to bring in some veterans he can trust. How much you think he still has in the tank? Because we've seen guards, not necessarily tackles. Tackles have to deal with a lot more athleticism wise with these guys on the edge. But we see centers play 34, 35, 36 years old, 37,
Mhm.
38. Is he worth it? Because you're not going to pay him a ton.
How much he's looking for. And then we don't need him at center. We got that young bull, Austin Powers Johnson.
Austin
Yeah.
Powers Johnson.
Jackson Powers Johnson. Love Jeff
Yes,
from
sir.
Oregon. I wanted him last year, man.
Yeah,
Him and
young
Zach
bull right
Frazier.
there in center. So he can definitely help us out the guard position. Now, question is, how much money he's going to want? He's older. So how much would you
I don't
pay
think he's
him?
going to want older guy money.
I mean, I don't know. It's coming from Dallas,
He
right?
used to that Dallas money.
A little bit.
I don't
Right.
know, man. I'm passing on Zach Martin. I'm not even interested, man. You know what I'm saying? I'd
No, I
rather
mean,
have.
let's say we're going to replace one old guy with another old guy. So let's say, if the money is relatively the same, because right now, if I'm not mistaken, PFF has Zeitler rated ahead of Martin
Mhm.
on the free agent list. Now, that doesn't mean he's a better player,
Yeah, I know.
but if the money is kind of the same, is it at least worth kicking the tires on?
I
Not
don't
as a long-term solution, because I think you, Ashanti, and you and I are lockstep in this. We're looking for younger solutions. But if you're
Mhm.
going to bring a veteran in during this offseason, which more than likely you are, simply because we do think they intend on going offensive line this draft. So if you're going to bring in, let's just say they draft 2 offensive linemen, a
Mhm.
tackle and 2 swing guys. You want to have some veterans around in that locker room aside from just Panay Sewell. I'm not trying to sell you on the Zach Martin thing. I just think that
Yeah,
it's something that's probably worth kicking tires on, because at this stage in his career, he's not getting 15, he's not getting 14, he's not getting 13 more than likely.
yeah. Facts. I mean, I agree with that part. You know what I'm saying? Me, I put a premium on veteran players, veteran presence in the locker room, leadership. You know what I'm saying? And I do think
Like,
that's what's needed. You know what I'm saying? That's what's needed with this team. You know what I'm saying? To constantly have professionals, you know what I'm saying, in the locker room, and guys who've been there know how to win. Only reason why I'm saying no to it is because I just seen the decline in their running game through the years. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, I would do it. If you told me, give them 1 year for, I don't know. I'm just saying, like you said, we ain't talking about Jerry money, but 13, 14 million, of course. You know what I'm saying? You do it, you know what I'm saying, in a heartbeat. The question is, I think you posed a good question. Like, is he? You might have to choose between him or Zeitler because it sounds like Zeitler wants to come back. I don't know. Like you said, if you line those two men up next to each other, who's better? You know, I think it may be a wash. It may be Zach Martin may be a little bit better in the run game. You know what I'm saying? Than Zeitler. Remember, Zeitler had kind of struggle coming out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? But kind of got it together. So, yeah,
Him
I
and
wouldn't hate it.
Glasgow.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
hate it. You know what I'm saying? I give me him over Glasgow. I think Glasgow's wash, man. I've seen enough. I've seen enough of him getting beat. I've seen enough of him just not moving his feet. It just
He looks tired.
yeah,
What's up there?
it
I
just looks
told you
like
it's the for people who say athleticism doesn't matter in the league, you silly.
yeah,
Dude, like there's something that goes along with the game outgrowing you
yeah.
for the most part. I just don't we talked about the Houston Texan game and how overwhelmed our offensive line looked against that athletic defensive front. And Will Anderson didn't even play in that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it's athleticism can overwhelm you. So we got the mahogany, and we go out and draft a guard, or maybe go sign a guard in free agency, and we'll be right there in the Super Bowl against the Raiders. But Fidel, Brent brought up a question for you guys. What is the ultimate plan you think at quarterback for the Raiders?
Well, Brent, I'm glad you asked because this is something that I've been thinking about the last like 10 days. So call me crazy, but there's a couple different ways that you can go about this. Obviously, you can go and draft a quarterback, but at the pick that the Raiders have, I think there's 6. Top 2 quarterbacks are probably not going to be there anymore, right? So you're going to have to sign a veteran. Now, is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so, but perhaps. Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Could be, because they're the Pete Carroll connection, but who knows? They probably go a different route. What are the Saints going to do at the quarterback position? Obviously, you got Derek Carr there, but they owe him kind of a lot of money. Now, do they want to bring Derek back, or do they want to draft someone, in the draft, or do they want to go with somebody they already have on the roster? In the perfect scenario, if they release Derek Carr, you sign Derek Carr, come back, and you draft a quarterback.
Man, get out of here
in the draft. Call me crazy. Call me crazy, but as crazy
no more
as it sounds,
full screen.
that's probably that's really a good route to go to. It's just because of the money.
Trade for Hendon Hooker, man. We give y'all Hendon Hooker. Just give us
His damn is good.
Really?
His damn is good.
Well,
him and Ben Johnson were they're a deal. Deal didn't come.
How about Justin Fields?
Yeah, for you.
No.
25.
I'm kind of out on Justin
athleticism,
Fields.
Big arm.
What about this, Fidel?
Yeah,
what
that's
if
fine.
Package deal? What if you get Stafford? Can you get y'all got enough money for Stafford?
Oh, no.
Apparently, they want the 3rd overall pick in the draft, so I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't believe the Giants will trade the 3rd overall pick for a 37-year-old quarterback, man. If it was Brady,
Sam Darnold. I believe Sam Darnold going to the Raiders. Yeah. That's what I believe. I think Darnold going to the Raiders.
I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are going to let him out, and just for the reasons I talked about.
Yeah,
earlier.
But his deal is projected at 41.
Yeah, I think some.
But what are you going? But if you're Minnesota, though, what are you going to do? You don't have a quarterback.
I think the Vikings are going to get Aaron Rodgers. That's what I think.
Oh man!
Oh my God! He's gonna follow Brett Favre's
Kevin O'Connell is like a quarterback. Hey, he doesn't made it work.
Oh, he ain't whispering with Aaron. He ain't whispering with Aaron.
He's gonna go to those retreats and then
do trade for Devontae Smith. Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
I can't.
But yeah, look, man, it sounds crazy as hell. But if the Saints cut him, I think bring Derek back. He never wanted to leave anyways. And to be honest with you, since he's left, this shit has not been stable at the quarterback position.
Wasn't stable when he was there.
What are you talking about? Yes, it was. He was starting for 9 years.
Where did y'all get, man?
Carr made bank, dude.
Oh yeah.
Carr made and Kirk Cousins. They got a fat bank account, dude. Just
bring Derek back.
Yeah. What about Kirk Cousins? Yeah. What about that? It ain't
He's in contract.
Is he? Oh, okay. I
We're
thought
not
that.
trading. They're not trading that with the
Yeah,
Falcons.
okay. His contract is. He got a great agent. Who is his
I,
agent, man?
I don't know, but he's done a great job. I read that he's been injured too, so that's why he was saying he wasn't playing as well. Shoulder injury, I think I read. Um, but him coming off the Achilles, he's older. Same thing with Aaron, but I don't think Aaron was that bad when he played at times. I don't know. Maybe we do bring in
He
Aaron
wasn't what
Rodgers.
they needed though.
It wasn't, and you
His numbers were what Zach Wilson numbers.
saw why
Someone
he's not.
posted their numbers, and it's crazy because it comes down to expectations though. Like if you're Aaron Rodgers, they were expecting to get 4-time league MVP Aaron Rodgers at his age. They weren't expected to get Zach Wilson in year 2. So what's looked at with Aaron Rodgers as a success is a complete failure for Zach Wilson. So that's the
Yeah,
problem. Like they didn't get what they thought. They thought they were getting old school Aaron Rodgers, and that guy's a thing of the past now, man.
well, you
What if
saw why
y'all
he's not a
trade
Jet
for?
anymore, right?
Who's the backup? Who's y'all backup? Fidel. Last year,
And
backup
McConnell,
quarterback. Aidan
Gordon
O'Connell.
Minshew.
Okay. What if? I'm just trying to find y'all a quarterback. What if y'all
We have
traded
been
for like?
too. We've been trying to find one for the longest time. Let's see if you can help us.
What if y'all trade for like Cooper Rush or
No.
Hey,
look,
what about
let me
Geno's?
let me just tell you this. We are done trying to patch this shit up. If we're gonna patch it up, bring Derek back. He's been at least he's been a Raider.
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay,
mean? But does Sanders fall to 6? Shador, does he fall to 6? Probably not, right? Just the way that the team needs. I mean, you got Tennessee at 1. They're probably drafting a quarterback. Cam Ward, possibility.
yeah.
You got the Giants at 3. I don't think Shador gets past the Giants right there. They need a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, so what do you do at 6? I mean, if there's a running back that you like up there, Gentry, probably the running back of the Boise State, I think the Raiders draft him.
Yeah, for facts. I just
But it's a deep class. I know it's a deep running back class, but I think the guy's special. I think you got to get your running back, and Pete Carroll loves to run the ball. So
I'm not mad at it, and I told you constantly, if you're not going to draft the quarterback, at least start drafting a bunch of talent and keep building the offense or keep building the defense. But you guys need some defensive players too.
we do. As far as free agency goes, they got a lot of players out there. Robert Spillane's out there. I really want them to bring Spillane back.
Yeah,
he's essentially been the heart of the defense when Max isn't out there, right?
What about Kuntz?
Man,
yeah, Kuntz, yeah.
Kuntz.
Yeah.
So he's coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would love to get him back. But how much money is he going to want? More Trayvon Moore, the safety is another one that I really want back. I think he's the best safety available on there besides Javon Holland. So they need to bring him back. But I mean, how much money is he
There
going
we go. Yo, good pick, LA. I was
Hey,
gonna say Malik Willis. There you go, Fidel. Malik
Malik
Willis.
look good in Green Bay.
Come on,
What's wrong with
Willis.
Malik, man?
Man,
Yeah.
we're not doing
Mobility,
that.
big arm.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think Chip would like him. He's not the type of player that Chip Kelly's looking
He
for.
can run,
What's
though.
Tennessee? Oh, look, check
Chip
this
love
out.
guys that can
Hey,
run.
draft Dylan Gabriel. What about Dylan Gabriel?
I like him.
He's small though, man.
Yeah.
Listen to this. I like this theory. What about Tennessee, right? Why don't y'all just revive Will Levis? There you go. Because Tennessee gonna draft probably a quarterback. You trade for Will Levis. And then
No. That was
trying to help.
I wanted to draft him a couple years ago.
I know I did
don't
too.
trade for him right now.
I like him and Malik Willis.
Yeah.
I got tore up for Malik Willis, and it's finally tapping into somebody. It's something there with Malik Willis, though, I believe. But maybe he a career backup. That might be what he is. But I just thought that out of Josh Johnson. Yep.
Troy Smith.
What's the other kid? No, not there we go.
He kind of reminds me of Troy Smith a little bit.
Who's it's a lot of it's always a good theory. You always hear it's a reason why if a certain guy's a backup quarterback. It's a big drop off, man, from being a backup to a starter. I don't
No.
believe it's a team out there that you can say, oh, well, the backup was better. I mean, I think maybe everybody kind of questioned Atlanta. Remember what Atlanta did? They drafted
Yeah.
Michael Penix,
They
and
shouldn't have
then
drafted him. The Rays would have drafted him, and would be having a whole different conversation because I
yeah,
believe that's where they were going, and they
mhm,
weren't expecting the Falcons to draft him.
yeah,
The other name that's kind of been out there is Marcus Mariota, just because of the connection with him and Chip.
Mm.
I don't see it. I mean, it could happen, right? But for him being a starter, maybe a bridge. I mean, who knows? All I know is that everything that's going on with the team right now is going through Tom. So if anybody knows quarterbacks, it's Tom. So that's what I'm banking on, that he's going to be able to make the right decision. I see Walt shaking his head.
Oh, I was shaking my head at the Levis comment. Yeah,
Oh man,
Levis is not good at the game of football, man.
Levis looks good in his commercials, just not
he
on the
made
field.
he made the worst play I ever seen in my life, man. The first game of the season,
Made a
Tennessee.
few of them.
Yeah, he made a few. He did, but they
That first game
played
against Chicago,
Chicago.
yeah,
Week one, they had that game. Tennessee outplayed the Bears. They should have won. They was up
they were
like
smoking him, man.
20-3 in the fourth quarter. We see it all the time in quarterback
Yeah,
panic. We see it all the time. I mean, it was like Chicago got some momentum, got a touchdown, got another touchdown, and then made it like 20-17. And he made the most egregious play I ever seen in my life. Under pressure, everybody was covered. He literally just flipped the ball like a frisbee, dude.
yeah.
Just not even throwing it out of bounds and gave him a pick. I just couldn't believe the coaching staff. Everybody wanted to kill him, dude. That was the game. I just thought they said this guy ain't shit, man. We totally got the wrong guy leading this team,
Um,
man.
I know we're talking about free agents, but just want to throw this out there. Do you guys think that Jackson Dart's going to be available around 2?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, I don't buy the first round hype that he getting. I don't see that type of talent. Didn't see that at USC. Didn't see a whole lot of it. Not from the physical standpoint. And a big question that's will come up about Dart is, was it the system at Ole Miss that really helped him out? But I think that's not fair because we hear that about a lot of quarterbacks. We heard that about Jaden Daniels when he left Arizona State and went to LSU. Oh, you're
Mm-hmm.
playing great now that you're around better players. Well, damn, what am I supposed to be? Like, I can't play good with good players,
Yeah.
but it happens. I always saw the physical tools though with Jaden Daniels, the arm talent, the mobility at Arizona State. I just never really saw it with Jackson Dart. Now, in a league that's kind of quarterback starved right now, in a draft where there's no clear cut number one guy, no clear cut number two guy. And Ashanti, you and I talked about this in our last show. We compared Cam Ward to last year's class. Like, would you take Cam Ward number one in last year's class?
mhm,
And we both decided and agreed that probably Cam Ward would have been the fourth quarterback, maybe fifth taken
mhm,
in last year's class. And same thing for Shedeur Sanders. So you reach these situations and these types of draft classes where teams that are desperate for quarterbacks start reaching,
mhm.
hoping they hit a grand slam.
Well, we
That's the whole
desperate for
thing.
quarterback.
Well, and I have no issue with that. Just don't address it in the first round. Don't address it at 8.
Yeah,
Like we've
Jackson
heard about
Dart's.
yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, Walt. I didn't
Are you
mean to cut
good?
you
Go
off.
ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, Jackson Dart's a prospect in my book. Is he a first round? He's one of those mid tier guys where he's not getting a lot of hype. 6'2", 225. A lot of people. It's funny how we always categorize certain tier guys, and then we just forget about the rest of the class. Man, I really do believe that. I think in every position, I think offensive line is pretty cut and dry when your guys on offensive line is a big drop off. And I think quarterback, it's always one or two of those guys. Like remember, like Kristen Ponder was like one
Mm-hmm.
of those mid tier guys, and then they
EJ
hyped him up.
Manuel,
Yeah, EJ Manuel. There we
Kellen
go.
Mond, 3 years
Yeah,
ago. Who? Yeah,
from Texas A&M. Yup, I remember that, and it was sort of like I think
ultimate reaches.
now who's the guy? Coral, the guy actually
Oh,
ironically
Matt Corral. Yeah.
went to Ole Miss like Jackson Dart. I definitely would take a flyer on this kid, man. Even if you're the Lions, I mean, later on, I mean, obviously, you're not gonna, young Lions not gonna use a second round pick on him. Obviously, he'd have to be
I
their
think I
third.
think he doesn't go past the second round. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
it's something there with him, Fidel. I really do. I like him, but where is he gonna fall? I think reason why I say no is because I think that the defensive talent in this draft is gonna, once those D tackles, defensive ends start to be a run on them guys. I think everybody gonna panic, man, and start getting them guys that they want. You know what I'm saying? Because the last 2 years, I think it was a run on cornerback. I think that's when we took Rakestraw in the second round after Terran Arnold, Quinyon Mitchell. You start to get, guys that you might want, on your board, and then you want, and you fear that he's not going to be there the next time around. So to answer your question, it's not because Jackson Dart. I don't think he's a prospect. I think he is. It's just it may be the talent level at the other positions might be a run on them guys. It may drop him down. So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah, it's gotten so difficult to really evaluate these quarterbacks now, though, because they moving around so much. Some of these guys, even if they only transfer once and played for two different schools, you may have played for two different schools, but at those two different schools, you may have had two different head coaches and three different offensive coordinators in 5 years. So it's these players, man, these quarterbacks, they doing themselves a major disservice. And I know the league doesn't like it. I don't know if the NFL can really do anything about it because the NCAA is their farm system. So at some point in time, I think once maybe or if the quarterback play in the NFL really starts to suffer, like to a point where Mahomes is, he's still himself and Josh Allen is still himself, but those guys are getting up in age, Lamar, and then there's just a bunch of just regular ass mediocre C-minus quarterbacks, then maybe something has to be done. But Fidel, we talked about this with Coach Hugh about the quarterback position and the lack of growth these kids get from 7-on-7 days to the high school. They go to all these camps and they just never really learn how to play football and be within at least be good and solid within the realm of a good offense, because everything is constantly changing around them consistently. By the time these kids get to the NFL, they just mentally fried. Now you're trying to install a complete NFL scheme and offense into a guy's head who never even memorized two or three in college.
I got two guys. Tell me what y'all think of these two. One guy, I'm very intrigued. I like, you brought up Dylan Gabriel. He gives me a left-handed Drew Brees vibes. I like Dylan Gabriel a lot. He's got to have the right situation. It's not him though. Jalen Milroe, I'm super intrigued by him, and then KJ Jefferson. I know KJ Jefferson transferred. Hasn't lived up to. I think he's got all the physical ability, man. Those are just Jalen Milroe. What I'm saying is Jalen Milroe, KJ Jefferson. I think those two guys are very interesting prospects, man. Just hit on that. And I was gonna put DJ Ugalele.
DJU.
DJU, 5-year senior.
Finally decided to come out and had the nerves to make an announcement, though.
Oh man. Hey, he was supposed to be the next next big thing.
I told people, man, DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah,
I can say that.
There you go.
I guarantee you, he goes to the combine. I guarantee you, he's going to throw the football better than everybody there. And somebody's going to fall in love with DJ. Somebody's going to fall in love with it because the arm talent is no comparison. Now we talking about on the field play,
man.
But you already know how it is, man. All you gotta do is show up and show the physical talent. They already remembered DJ from high school.
Yeah.
So it's for us. You talking about like for the Lions if he was there the 2 7th-round picks or something like that.
Yeah, Milroe, KJ Jefferson is interesting, man. That guy is an interesting prospect. Something just got me pointing to him and saying that it depends. I'd like to see him in the combine if he's getting an invite, but. What is he? I don't have his measurables in front. Yeah, 6'3", 247 pounds. Got good size. I mean, I just want to see him individually.
He just looked lost till last year, man.
Yep.
He really looked lost.
I don't
I just
know,
pick out
man.
guys. Every year I just pick out a couple guys that's a shot in the dark and say,
Yeah.
hey, maybe, you know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried, man. I was a big DJ Uyunglele fan. I gave him pretty much a write off for Clemson because at the end of the day, he was nothing like what Dabo Sweeney wanted and required out of his quarterbacks. He should have went to Alabama. That's where he initially committed to, I believe. But Bryce went to Alabama, so he decided to go ahead and head over to Clemson. But he's not a running quarterback. You don't do the RPO with him. You don't give him options. You don't give him
It looks
direct
like a
runs. I
statue back
understand
there.
he's big, right? I understand but I think Sweeney looked at him as a big quarterback who had size, and I'm just gonna run him, and that's not what he was. He gave you glimpses. Now, I felt like when he went to Oregon State, he played better that 1 year at Oregon State that people gave him credit for.
Yeah.
Now, last year at Florida State, I don't know what the hell happened. They lost 56 players.
He looked
and they
lost.
lost coaches. They like
he looked lost out there.
Right. So when you look at DJ Uyunglele, it's going to come down to what lens do you view him from?
The bad one.
It was I understand that. I understand that, but when you look at the context of his situation, it's like he was a square peg in a round hole at Clemson.
That's what I'm looking at. Yep.
He was decent under what's my man name, the head coach that went to Michigan State? Not Mike Smith.
Jonathan Smith.
Johnson, yeah, he was good for that 1 year under Jonathan Smith at Oregon State, and then he went to a dumpster fire at Florida State that lost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's good or he's going to be good, but I do think that if you look at the context of DJ's situation, he probably should win and play baseball. I thought he was going to go ahead. Didn't he get drafted by the Yankees or the Marlins or somebody a couple years ago?
Must have been the Marlins. Yeah.
He should have been. Yeah, he should have been. Maybe he should have went ahead and played baseball.
Sabathia. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I get it. 2 7th-round picks if he's there. And you and I both agree. We felt like this team probably should draft a quarterback this year, even if it is a project. But for you guys, man, DJ at number 8.
No.
Go ahead and take the risk.
Hell no. You're crazy.
Now look at that arm talent, man.
Stay away from that cat. Jamarcus Russell had arm talent too. And look what happened.
Hey, man, DJ's a
he looked like Jamarcus Russell too, as a matter of fact.
Oh, come on, man.
Looking lost out there. Like come on.
Man, give him Pete Carroll. He'll be okay.
We out on that. Right here in the mud. That it could be a possibility that they draft him. I mean, I don't know. Do they? I don't know.
No. Like all jokes aside, I don't even think DJ's draftable. But like I said, when guys show up at the combine and start throwing the football all around, coaches get enamored, scouts get enamored.
Wilson.
They say, "Oh, he's gonna throw the ball better than Zach Wilson."
I'm just saying, Zach Wilson.
I think people forgot the type of arm talent DJ had.
By the arm talent. Anthony Richardson.
Well, Zach also had the look too. Like Zach had the whole boy next door look going for him, and it was a lot of reasons they was pushing the hell out of Zach Wilson, but ultimately, look, Zach went to a bad situation. Not to say that Zach was good and he would have been good if he would have went somewhere good, but
I think the worst thing that happened to him was when Aaron tore his Achilles because he was not ready to go in. He was.
We thought that was the perfect time. Like, dude, like, what you mean? He was chilling.
He was. Come on, man.
Aaron here. I ain't got to read the playbook or nothing.
The reason why they brought Aaron is so that way Zach could take a step back and kind of recess his situation, learn from Aaron Rodgers.
Zach had all summer to do that, man. I ain't cutting Zach no slack.
But you're telling me that he was expecting Aaron Rodgers to get hurt and be out for the whole year.
Man, be prepared.
I'm pretty sure
you was already there for 2
that
years,
part.
though.
I understand, but I'm just telling you.
Zach should have been
the most likely thing was probably like, hey, all right, well, I'm gonna learn from Aaron. I'm gonna take this here to kind of take it in. He was not expecting to be out there the whole season. No one was.
2 plays into the season against the Jets. Snap. Zach Wilson on the sideline. I gotta play.
Yeah, what you think?
Let me skim through this playbook real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it is to like DJ.
He didn't have to because he knew the playbook.
Yeah,
But
guys, we talking about like DJ. Obviously, these guys are not NFL ready. You know what I'm saying? To be, and sort of like what Fidel's trying to say is like sometimes like Hendon Hooker, like
there
was
you
no
go.
plan for Hooker to even play. With you know what I'm saying? You just like,
Yeah.
dude, you okay? You got a jersey. You know what I'm saying? You got a number. We gonna put the, you holding this clipboard, man. You got this headset on, you got this earpiece in, and you just soaking up in-game situation. You soaking up,
Yeah.
what to do in this spot. So I get it. I get it. And some guys you draft typically for that kind of a role, and then if it kind of happens, then it happens. But I mean, it's rare for a guy to
But
be literally, you know,
ready.
you ready, right? You know what I'm saying, or be on the bench for 3 years. I mean, Jordan Love did it, for X amount. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers did it for an extent, but these GMs, the fans, nobody wants to wait, man. It's no more waiting anymore. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that much time anymore to show.
Yeah, but you know why? Because look at what Jane Daniels did
Yep.
last year, right? Look at what CJ Stroud did the
Yeah.
year before. I mean, shit. Houston already got rid of the offensive
Yeah,
coordinator.
which is crazy.
You got a new one in there.
I just think Zoe brought.
I think Bobby went to Miami. He's gonna be a quarterback coach
Yeah,
now.
but Zoe brought up Russell Wilson. The difference with Russell was mentally wired different. Russell was a 5-year player. He played at NC State, played at Wisconsin. He's that dude that comes in to take your job too. Everybody had a dude like Russell Wilson at their job.
Yeah. People forget that Seattle paid Matt Flynn a decent amount of change.
Yeah.
Russ had a great preseason. Right? So you factor all that, and then Matt Flynn just didn't look good out there.
He didn't.
So that's why Russell was able to,
I think I
Seattle
also
to
think
beat
Russell was
QB1.
mentally wired to be that type of guy. Like Russell is the guy that comes in and, like I said, I'm here to take your job. Whatever you don't do, I'm gonna do it 10 times better than you, and I'm gonna do it in front of our manager so he sees it.
Yeah.
like Russ. So Russell was a maniac. Russ was a little bit different. I kind of feel like wherever Russell Wilson went, ultimately he was gonna end up on the field. He's just that type of guy.
Yeah.
Now, was Jordan Love? We know for damn sure Zach Wilson wasn't that type of guy. Zach Wilson was handed everything.
And I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but the whole preseason being cut down to 2 games, that's not going to help the young guys at all. So if you're going to do that, they need to expand these rosters. The amount of people that you can have on your roster. But I mean, when you think about it, even Derek Carr, I think Matt Flynn, again, they had paid him money in the offseason. Derek was drafted, I believe, in the 2nd round. He had a great preseason. He ended up being the starter.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I want to go over to another position real quick. I think as much praise as we've given the defensive tackle position and the defensive line position in this draft, I think the free agent market is just as weak. Like if we looking for impactful talent, free agent wise, defensive tackle wise, just think about this right now. Right now, PFF has Levi Onwuzurike ranked as the 3rd best free agent defensive tackle out there. That says it all. So I think for like Ashanti, our Lions, we probably gonna have to go to the draft if we looking to really upgrade. Because I mean, we're gonna bring DJ Reader back, but for what I heard, you talking about the ticket is probably gonna be 14 mil on Reader. As long as Reader is healthy, I have zero problem giving Reader 14 mil because because we respect what his job is out there to do. Is he? Well, I heard somebody tell me he doesn't get sacks. That's not what DJ Reader's job is to do.
Yeah, he breaks that pocket down.
He holds it. He holds the line of scrimmage. He protects the line of scrimmage for Jack Campbell and Alexander Zaloni. And he did a damn good job of it, and he was able to remain healthy. So 14 mil for a solid nose tackle in this day and age ain't bad at all.
Yeah, it's a blessing for Onwuzurike. Hey, he might say, "Hey, y'all saying it's bad, but I'm about Onwuzurike about to.
I'm gonna clean up.
I'm about to clean up. Right? Somebody about to pay him.
The Raiders about to give me a big deal.
Hell no.
Yep.
38 million for Levi, boy.
Nah,
we're good over here. Y'all ain't good over there. Y'all can use some Levi's.
Yeah.
Y'all can use some Levi's over there.
We're good over here.
You'll find yourself in Carolina or the Saints constantly make bad decisions over the cap.
Go ahead, go to Saints. Mickey Loomis problem, but he got cap problems too, so I don't know what he's gonna be
Yeah.
able to do.
Yeah. But
But
yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
man.
It's rough. I think last year's was better, even though Christian Wilkins didn't have the financial season he thought he would have had to match what he got paid.
Well, look, check it out. He till he
Yeah.
got hurt, he jumped up and made to celebrate, and he broke his shit. And that's what happened. And that Denver Broncos game, man. I know they're gonna say it wasn't that, but it was that.
Yeah, it's just, man, if you look at, I'm just going through some of these names right now, man. You got Tahir Tart of the Chargers, Tershawn Wharton of the Chiefs, Poona Ford, Jerron Reed of Seattle, another aging guy, Calais Campbell. We all know how old Calais is. BJ Hill of the Bengals. Like this is what it is right now. And Levi's is the youngest out of all of them. Now Milton Williams is a guy, not Fidel, but Ashanti, you brought up that you like Milton Williams a lot. He's currently ranked second, which puts you right about that. So PFF feels the same about Milton Williams. Um, Considering we just invested the money in Aleem McNeil, and it may come down to, do you want to pay DJ Reader or pay him? Because they're not gonna pay all three defensive tackles. So if you decide to pay that ticket on Milton Williams, it means probably DJ Reader's gonna be gone. We talking about guys becoming cap casualty too at some point in time over the next 3 months. So, um, how in love with Milton Williams are you?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the guy for me. I seen enough this preseason. I mean, preseason, postseason, just to know that he provides something that this team, the Lions, desperately need, man. Now you could say this. You could say, well, he played on a line with Jordan Davis and
Jalen.
Jalen Carter. So obviously it's going to be, just pin your ears back and just go head hunting out there. You know what I'm saying? It's different, but you just think about it, with Aleem McNeil, same deal with Reader and Aiden Hutchinson, a healthy three guys up front, with the emergence of, if you want to even throw one of our other, linebackers in there, Jack Campbell, anything like that, just to show that it's a place for him and he can get paid. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the price tag would be that. I mean, I don't think he's going to command astronomical amount. He's going to get good payday, but I don't think it'll be anything that can cripple the Lions. I don't think it have anything to do with the other players. So that we trying to sign. So yeah, for me, Milton Williams or Azeez Al-Jalari, those are the two guys that I would absolutely try to get if you're in the Lions in this D tackle class. I wouldn't break the bank for them. You don't have to give up any draft picks to get them. We talk about Myles Garrett ad nauseum. And we talk about giving up things, but to get one of these two guys and preferably Milton Williams, you're just paying them. That's basically what you're doing. So for me, if you was to tell me, Walt, if we can get Milton Williams and the number 4 prospect on our board or 3 prospect on our board at defensive end or linebacker, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? This is what we need, man. And I'm pretty sure he's got. I don't have the measurables in front of me, but I don't think that it'll be like a buyer's remorse type thing with him. I think he's a excuse me, a player that's trending up. We got a new defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard. That this organization Brad Holmes wants to give him some players that he could, have his finger on, have his stamp on, and make his mark. A new defensive philosophy. I just think it's a win-win all the way around. With Milton Williams, he emerged. I mean, let's be honest. Now, at the beginning of the season, I wasn't saying, yeah, let's sign Milton Williams from Philly, but I think as the season plays out, how the playoff played out, ultimately winning the Super Bowl, like I'm more high on him than I am like Josh Sweat. You know what I'm saying? I think Josh Sweat's a dime a dozen player. I think Milton Williams has got a combination of power and just that pushback, man. Just you could do a lot of things with him. I think Aaron Glenn could have made it work. Let's just say if he was on our roster this year, I think Aaron Glenn, he could have made it work with him and Muhammad together. You know what I'm saying? Just the packages we was rolling out there. So
all right, I want to hit this free agent list. I'm gonna head over to Spot Track. They got them all out here. not in any specific order. I'm gonna go to naming off some names. When I get to a name, one of you guys want to comment on, just say stop. All right. And I'm gonna announce the age of these players. Stephon Diggs, 31 years old.
All right, stop.
Yeah.
Real quick. All the receiver coming off injury. I believe he was only on the 1-year contract with the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
How healthy he's going to be going into next year, right? I think he should be fully healthy. There's going to be a team out there that's going to take a chance on him. I know he was probably looking just to do 1 year in Houston and then get paid, but that's probably out the window now. A lot of teams could use his services. Las Vegas Raiders could help, could use them. Baltimore, San Francisco, Arizona. There's multiple teams out there, right? So I think he is going to get an opportunity, but it's going to be not a long-term contract. It's probably be 1 or 2.
Well, how much impact do you think how he exited Minnesota and how he exited Buffalo will impact this? Because people, it's a known fact. You may not have to be the most talented or the most productive player. Calais Campbell is a perfect example of this. If they like having you around and people like having you there, and you're a good guy and you're beneficial to the team, they'll pay you and they'll give you jobs. They'll keep you around. Once you get a reputation like he had, how he left Buffalo, you got traded out of Buffalo for issues. You got traded out of Minnesota for issues. You're coming off this injury now. The money he may think he's going to get, he ain't getting that. No, he's not getting that. Nowhere near that.
The reason why he was being a good citizen in Houston was because he was looking for a team to pay him and give him a long-term contract. I think he's going to be in the same situation this offseason. I think wherever he's going to go, he'll be a good citizen. He'll be a good dude because he still is looking to get paid one more time. And it's not going to be this offseason, but it could help him elevate, till next year if he only signs a 1-year contract.
I'm not sure if he gets signed this off season. Like,
I think he gets signed
before Cooper.
You could argue.
Yeah,
his tag is probably going to be higher than Diggs, so that could be possible. But Cooper's a good guy. He's a good soldier. I said, those guys keep jobs in the league, man.
But he is going to go somewhere. I think someone is going to sign him. So
I'd rather have Isaiah Bond from Texas.
That's what it's gonna come down to. It might come down to that.
I'm just putting it out there. Isaiah Bond, Texas. Ring him up and just put a Lions. Can we just put a Lions uniform right now on Isaiah Bond and just move on with life, man? I'm out on Stephon Diggs. I don't want nothing to do with him, man. That's just me.
Yeah, no, not for us. Maybe for the Raiders or something, but definitely not for us. Not for us, man. All right, so let's get back to this list real quick. We got T. Higgins. We already touched on T. Higgins. T. Higgins, 26 years old. Keenan Allen, 32 years old, 12-year vet.
Stop.
Oh, man. Oh, why,
look,
man? Why?
Go ahead, Fidel.
Right.
Go ahead. Make your case, man. Make your case.
Right,
He listening.
All right, look.
We all saw the bald spot on Thanksgiving.
We did.
On top of that man's head. We all see it.
All right, if we go back and we look at Jim Harbaugh's comments, he said that he would be open to having Keenan Allen back. Now, if I'm Keenan Allen, I already went the grass isn't green on the other side. So if I'm him, I'm doing everything I can to get back to the Chargers because they do need wide receiver help. And I know he's older, so you're going to get him on a friendly contract, I believe. So I think he probably ends up back with the Chargers. If not with the Chargers, maybe with the Rams.
That's a pathetic attempt to insulate your quarterback. You bring back Keenan, the Snail Allen.
Hey, his coach
you bring back Keenan.
His coach been out there.
If you don't go sign T. Higgins,
I thought Fidel.
I don't want them to sign T. Higgins, man. Come on.
Of course you don't want him to, but I'm like, man, if you're Jim Harbaugh, this is the best you can do for this man. Is to bring back Keenan Allen, bro.
Give me a better option.
Best you could do.
That's not T. Higgins.
No,
you don't want that to happen.
Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, maybe. I don't know. I think it's when Keenan Allen had the little internet beef with Mike Evans talking about I'm just as good as you. I'm like, when you hear players argue about that stuff, and you just as a fan sit back like, come on, bro, we talking about Mike Easy. you ain't better than Mike Evans, man. All my numbers, dog. They be killing me, but my numbers say this, man. Like, dog, you ain't better.
Keenan, aka Slowpoke. Yeah,
Keenan done, bro. Not done in the league. He gonna get paid somewhere.
Yeah,
he's not getting paid. He'll get a contract.
Somebody's gonna financially compensate him.
Yeah, there you go.
He might find a Udonis Haslam role.
Oh my god! All right, yeah,
for the Raiders,
man, get the.
I thought Fidel wanted Keenan Allen.
Oh, hell no! I'm out now. Barbecue chicken.
Hey, listen, Brandon Cooks, 31.
Yeah. I'm not stopping there. So go ahead.
Khalil Mack, 34.
No, I like Khalil. I ain't disrespect him. I don't want him for the Lions.
Come home, Khalil. Come home.
I mean, I'ma stop. Our GM specializes in
Harry Kill.
Prove it to me. Why not get somebody on a prove it here who's actually going to play 15, 16, 17 games and help? Now, if you bring in
wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, I said it.
Deal. Really?
No, but come
on.
That's our GM.
Derwin James.
I'm saying that's our GM.
Khalil Mack was the best defensive player the Chargers had.
I understand that, but I'm talking about GM likes to bring guys in from other teams on 1 year, 2 year deals.
That ain't happening here.
Oh wait, dude, what you think Khalil wants? I don't even think Khalil wants a long.
I don't think he wants to leave LA.
Yeah,
I think it's probably a year or two. That's it.
Market is what Khalil got 14 last year, 15. We go back to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talking about what? Give him 2 years. You're gonna give Khalil what 17 mil?
Man, just go to the Raiders, bro. Go to the Raiders.
Now, he don't want to do that.
Come home.
He want to be associated with some winning.
Oh, if that was the case.
We ain't win our last game. We lost one in a row. But
I know we got traded. Oh, okay. Hey, hold on. Hold on. Let's make it clear. You guys been good for a couple years now, but before that,
he gonna bring up the pass on us. He gonna bring up our pass on us.
I'd rather have Milton Williams than
Milton.
Yeah.
I think if we,
Khalil Mack. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would just say if we. Just because we got 2 defensive tackles already in that spot, and we banking on bringing back Reader, we got some younger guys that are going to be healthy. I don't have any idea what they plan on doing with Broderick. Broderick might become a Raider for all we know. But I just think that some pressure on the edge. Then considering the fact that Khalil can play with his hand in the dirt, you can stand Khalil up in some 3-4 if you want to. Like I think he's dynamite still at the age that he's at. So we talking about a hired gun for a couple years, not wanting to commit. One thing Brad Holmes has shown over these 4 years, he ain't willing to commit to no damn body that he ain't draft long term. He ain't doing that. The only guys he committing to long term is the guys he actually drafted. Everybody else is coming in. You get 1 year. You get 2 years, bro.
And it's interesting what you said, Walt, because remember Marcus Davenport, how good he was, okay. I mean, Walt, you talked me into this one because I would say, if you want to just not, obviously Davenport was only a year anyways, but if you bring and slide Khalil Mack in, and like Fidel was saying, maybe in a contract friendly way. You know what I'm saying? For 2 years, I'll do it. I would do it. Yeah, of course. Yep, with Aiden Hutchinson and Reader and some of the guys that we have. I'm Josh Pasco. This is my last year with him. This is it. He gonna have to show me something, or he gonna be on
for depth purposes. He's okay. Yeah. You just don't want him starting constantly.
No, he's rotational player. That's all he is. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, man. Go ahead, Walt. Go ahead. Who's next?
To answer Brent's question, I think Aleem should be solid for the start of the season. Now, Aiden is probably what they heard. Maybe the first doctor I heard from the doctor personally, but the first doctor I heard actually speak on it after the Cowboys game when he got hurt said that typically athletes he shouldn't be back to like November. That's if Detroit's not pushing him to come back, or if he's not pushing himself to come
No.
back.
Mhm.
But I mean, and Shanti, you brought this up a few days ago. Like, we still got questions because we don't know if this dude is ever going to be himself again. We just assume that guys come back from injuries and they're just better than ever. That's not always guaranteed to be,
Well,
the deal.
well, the thing for him is that age is on
True,
his side. He's still
true,
young, right? So I think if he doesn't rush things, I think he's gonna be all right.
true. Yeah, like I said, I think Aleem should be good to go by the start of the season. Um,
Oh yeah.
Training camp, we don't know, but by the start of the season, he should be all good. So, all right, man, we got hey, Zach Martin, 34 years old. We already spoke on Zach. Deontay Johnson, keep
Mm-hmm.
him away from our team at
Yeah.
28
Yep.
years old. Cam Robinson, left tackle, 29 years old. Brandon Scherf, guard, 33. It seemed like Scherf should be older than that, man.
Yeah. Didn't he play in Jacksonville?
No.
He's been in the league how
Jacksonville,
long?
Washington, I think. He
Yeah.
played in a lot of
Scherf's a good player.
He's been
Yeah.
around.
Depending on the money. I'm not gonna stop at it. Hassan Reddick, 30 years old. Carlton Davis, 28. Matthew Judon, 32. Shavarius Ward, 29. Joseph Noteboom, tackle from the Rams. He's 29. DeMarcus Lawrence, 32. Preston Smith, 32. DeAndre Hopkins, 32. Ryan Kelly, center from the Indianapolis Colts, 31. DJ Reed, that's your boy, 28.
Stop. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we don't have, we talked about him already. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. Justin Reed, the safety from the Chiefs. I mean, if there's anything else you want to say about it, we can talk about it. Ain't no problem though.
No, I just believe he's the best cornerback in this class to me. I think he's better than Carlton Davis. Not, and I like y'all know I like Carlton Davis. I would want him back, but I don't think the price tag is going to permit that. So I think you could get DJ for cheaper. I think DJ probably want to get a nice free agent deal too, but he's the one. Remember, is the last couple of years he's got the best free agent at said position. The last 2 years, man. Carlton Davis was the top cornerback last year. I think that it's evident that we need help at corner still, until these guys develop, namely Arnold and Rakestraw. So for me, DJ Reed is a home run, man. I would absolutely try to get him and Milton Williams if I could. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how. The money is the big elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? To get you figure those two premier guys is going to cost you, man. I don't know. Like Fidel was saying, with these other contracts looming, you don't know. Hopefully, that's not for me to decide it. That I don't get paid for that. They got guys that work all that stuff out. So for me, if I had to choose one guy, if you told me Milton Williams or DJ Reed, and I don't want people to kill me. This might sound crazy. I would get DJ Reed before Milton. I think the cornerback is a premium on this team, man. They do.
Yeah, it is.
That's why we lost the Washington game. Yeah, we didn't get any pressure, but dude, we let them guys run free the whole game. And it's an issue. It's continued to be an issue with this Lions team. And if we could ever get some stability, which Carlton Davis did, unfortunately, till he broke his jaw, it's going to continue to haunt this team, I think. So,
yeah, I think I would feel differently and feel a lot better if I saw more out of Terrion Arnold as a rookie, but I didn't. I didn't see enough out of Rakestraw at all either. Amik Robertson broke his arm 2-3 plays into the divisional championship game. So if you talk about letting Carlton Davis go and not paying him market value, that's what your corner room looks like. A bunch of questions. 2 rookies who really showed you not much as rookies. It's not like we got a Quinyon Mitchell or a Kamari Lassiter from the Houston Texans, a corner, Nate Wiggins from the Baltimore Ravens, a corner that went out there and balled as a rookie. So we still got question marks about our rookie. So DJ Reed makes sense. It's understandable completely because we do have our issues. I don't know if DJ Reed would go to the Raiders or not. But he's a possibility, man. I just think you just never know. Once you start waving the money around, y'all got Tom Brady as the figurehead over there. Anything's possible.
My son, man.
That's right. Hey,
no, I'm saying my son got a question while he
oh yeah,
he watching on the side. He said, "Well, how y'all feel about Tyreek Hill?" He said Tyreek Hill the best receiver in the league, and he feels. What about him with the Raiders, Fidel?
Oh,
That's my son.
Oh
I don't think it
man,
happens at all.
I don't think it happens, but I'd love it to be on
You
the
told me
Raiders.
to ask, bro.
Would love it, but we got a quarterback situation we need to solve, and that's probably one of the reasons why he's not happy in Miami is because of the quarterback
Yeah,
situation.
Um,
Um,
for sure, for sure.
I'm gonna tell Junior the best advice I can tell him about this Tyreek Hill situation. Money don't fix everything, bro. When people writing you checks or that direct deposit hit, oh yeah, you see that no state income tax in Florida, and you could talk up to all you want about how he's the most accurate quarterback. Everything is good when you first get the money. Ask any of these players 2 years
oh,
later after signing in
do
bad
do you
situations
remember how that started? Do you remember how that started? How the whole Tyreek Hill
with
situation started?
Miami.
It was when the Raiders traded for no, it was when the Raiders traded for Devontae Adams, and he became the highest paid receiver
Yeah,
in the league. And then he went back to Kansas City and said, like, "Hey, Devontae Adams just got paid. Let's work something out." And that's how he ended up in Miami. Um, yeah, I don't see him.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't want him.
Yeah,
I just like my son. That's his favorite player, so I just wanted to ask him and
he is
Patrick
gonna have a race
Mahomes. Yeah.
against some track star, isn't he, during the summer in July?
what he's supposed to race Ted? No, that was Chris Johnson that was supposed to race Ted Ginn Jr.
He's racing someone in July. I can't recall who it is, but apparently they're
He
like
should race DK Metcalf.
they're
Didn't
really
DK
fast.
Metcalf challenge him last offseason?
I don't know, but hey, a lot of
These
rumors.
dudes.
Metcalf traded for the Raiders. Call wants to play for Pete again. Who knows? I think Jackson Smith and Jigma is probably receiver number one in Seattle moving forward, though. I do think that.
Yeah, moving forward, probably so. All
Yeah.
right, so we got Josh Sweat, defensive end for the Eagles. He's posed for a big time payday coming off a Super Bowl win, 27 years old. BJ Hill, defense tackle.
You think it looks Philly?
Yeah. If I'm Philly and I look at it for what it is, I may not want to see you go, but I'm solid building everything else moving forward around my defensive tackles and my corners. I got Jalen Carter. I don't think Jordan Davis is the
Yeah.
best player. He's really inconsistent to me. He's
He's
kind of
good though.
he's an enigma, but you look at his size, his overall talent, you would expect him to be more consistent, but that's been going on since Georgia. Jalen Carter's a stud though.
Yeah. How do you think Hassan Reddick feels? He was the one that asked for the trade, right, out of
He
Philly.
wanted his money.
He wanted his
Didn't get the money.
Oh.
See, it goes back to the
Didn't get the
money.
money or the ring.
Always goes back to
Yeah.
the money.
He might be a Raider too.
Oh,
He might be a Raider.
I don't know.
We trying to fill your roster out, man.
I appreciate it, man.
This next guy is Sam Darnold, and Darnold only 27.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Stop right there. I know we kind of talked about it. Hey, but look, there's been multiple reports out that JJ needs more rehab on that knee. That he needs to get back into football shape. Question is Minnesota going to let Sam out the building? I know the price is high, but at the same time, what's your backup plan? Because all indications is that JJ isn't going to be ready by week 1 of next year. So what do? Do you let Sam walk? I know he had a shitty playoff game. But besides that, I think he had a great
His
year.
final 2 games were shitty.
He should have won comeback player of the year.
His final 2 games were shitty.
They were.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you're talking about the market, but maybe listen. I think what's going to happen with Darnold, they're going to let him go out there and test the market the same way the Giants did with Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones found out the Colts gave him the best offer, and it was substantially under what he got from the Giants.
But also, I know Sam wants to get paid, but he needs to understand that Kevin O'Connell is not going with them. And that's where I think a lot of people are missing.
You think he care?
Is that, Sam had a great year, but it was under Kevin O'Connell. Besides that, he hadn't played well, right? So that's the other thing you have to take into consideration. Where you're going to go. Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? What kind of system are they going to run?
What if he just wants the money?
I understand that part. Later. But, I mean, of course you want the money, but you also want to go out there and play well. Because, I mean, besides him having one good year, the jury's still out on him because he had a horrible game against the Lions, and he had a horrible game against the Rams in the playoffs, right? So I mean, and not every team is going to have Justin Jefferson on the roster as well. That helps.
Yeah. I mean, teams will
So
ask
we'll
him
see.
about
I
that
mean,
too. Like I've heard like players say that in free agency talks with other teams. They'll ask you about those games. So like, Sam, what happened? What happened against Detroit? What happened against the Rams? What happened those last 2 games? And you better have the right answer, Sam. They're gonna be pulling dollar signs away.
And look, we're gonna find out pretty soon because we're about less than a month away from
Absolutely.
free agency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got to figure it
So
out.
you got to figure out soon. This is probably the biggest question mark to me on any NFL team this offseason. What do you do with Sam Darnold? Do you bring him back or you let him walk?
Man, that's a tough one for me. That's tough.
It's
That's
tough. It's tough because
because like you said, if JJ ain't ready, I mean it's a given. You got to have a quarterback, right? Especially familiar with the system. So and then Sam ain't giving you. You would think at this point in his career, he ain't giving no discounts, right? You know what I'm saying? He like JJ ain't got nothing to
I
do with
don't know.
me.
All they got to
You
do
know
is
what I mean?
wave that
To-
film in his face.
To me,
Remember this game?
he should have won the comeback player of the year. He should have won it. I know Joe Burrow had a great year, but I mean, I think Sam should have won it just because of the way his career has gone. But yeah, man, I don't know. We'll
Comeback
see.
from where? He ain't
Aaron
nowhere.
Jones is a free agent too.
Yeah.
There's a couple free agents on Minnesota's roster.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Murphy
yeah,
at corner.
Murphy. Yeah.
How often does the rookie get traded or the veteran get held on to though? Like, remember the last time? One of the last times we seen this happen was what? But one of the more historical times was when the Chargers weren't so sure about Drew Brees, and they went and they drafted Phillip Rivers, and then Brees performed great.
But you remember it was the last week of the season. They were playing against the Denver Broncos. Drew Brees hurt his shoulder, or else he would have got paid, and they wouldn't have drafted Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
So that's the situation.
But that shoulder
too.
kept him from getting paid by the Dolphins too. That offseason.
Yeah, because their medical, it's been on record. Nick Saban asked the medical staff, "What do you think of the injuries, him or Dante Culpepper?"
Yeah.
Remember, Culpepper is coming off injury as well, and they decided to go with Dante and let Drew walk.
And the rest is history.
Which was the biggest mistake in Nick Saban's NFL career. Yeah. I think we all know that now.
I mean, the Chargers had success. Phillip, they didn't have the ultimate long-term success, but they were a good team for a while. Phillip had great statistical years. They had 12 win seasons, 13, 14 win seasons, but ultimately they never achieved the major goal, which Drew did with the Saints, oddly enough. So we just don't like it. Typically, if I draft you for a reason, and I'm not going to trade you for the veteran who I have 5-6 years worth of film on.
But so my question now is though, how bad is that knee injury? How significant is this? Can he not play next year at all? Because if not, then you got to come up with something else.
I don't envy the Vikings at all.
It's a difficult situation. You drafted this guy. He had talent. He looked good against the Raiders in the preseason. That's when he got hurt. And I thought it was just, I didn't think it was anything significant, but it turns out it was. Now, how much rehab does he need? Like, these knees, man, when you get these injuries, sometimes it's smooth sailing, sometimes it's not. Look at Teddy Bridgewater. Look at that year when he got hurt with the Minnesota Vikings in training camp.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't envy the Vikings at all. If I was to pay Darnold, I get it because you got the fear of not knowing with McCarthy.
What if I let him walk? What's this going to look like next year?
Yeah, but you feel perfectly fine if Darnold walked that he was terrible wherever he went. Then you'd be at the end of the day.
What if he's good?
Do we expect it? You just said it. Like he's not taking O'Connell with him.
I don't know. We've seen crazy shit happen, man.
Let's weigh the options. Where is he going to go where he's going to have success? The Raiders?
I don't know. It's a tough division. No, he's not going to the Saints.
There's nowhere for him to go. If we honestly being honest about the market, what, the Colts? Is it going to be a Brown?
I don't know. What about the Rams?
Nah, he ain't McVay's kind of guy. Nah.
Why not?
He's not good enough.
How do you know that?
I got years.
Kevin
I got Phil.
O'Connell coached under Sean McDermott. He's basically running the same system.
You really believe that? Look at the Rams right now. The Rams are 3 years removed from winning the Super Bowl, and everybody on that team is gone now. Well, except for Coop. Coop probably about to be gone this offseason too.
He's gone too. He's
We're already hearing Stafford rumors. Like just 3 years removed from a Super Bowl win, that team is going to be gutted. So if you're the Rams, like, do you think how does Darnold help over there though?
I don't know if he does. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing if they stick. Look at this report real quick. Aaron wanted 1 or 2 more years as a starter with the New York Jets. He pleaded to stay.
Please, nobody else will put up with my shit. Please.
Hey man, just don't do the Pat McAfee show anymore, and all good, and be here when you need to.
So the Jets, that's for real. The Jets told him to shake McAfee.
Yeah, that's real. They told him that he needed to show up to training camp as well, on time.
I gotta tell you that, man. That's why you're not Tom Brady.
Yeah, the normal shit that that you expect from any player trying to compete in the league, make a roster. I know it was he would make the roster, but you got to be out there, man. It's just the normal kind of shit, that you
like,
do the
being team and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Being there and being a leader. Since you've been there, done that, and that's why they brought you in and paid you all that money. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, nothing crazy. Yeah.
All right.
And and don't do ayahuasca in the summer.
Hey, Byron Murphy, right? 27 years old. I'm a big Byron Murphy fan. I'm a big Trent McDuffie fan. Both of those guys came out of University of Washington. Tough, physical, scrappy corners who prove they can play on the outside when all the question marks about them coming out of college where they just slot corners. 27 years old, hell of a player. I think he's, along with Amik Robertson, I think he's Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell's type of corner. How much is the ticket going to be on Byron Murphy? I'm not sure if he's a $20 million guy. Is he a $16 million guy? Because now we're asking the question, if the market is still $20 million a year for Carlton Davis, coming off the injuries he's coming off of, what would the market be for a guy like him, as well as DJ Reed that you mentioned earlier? Because I think Murphy's probably the best player out of those guys right there. And I like DJ Reed. I really like Byron Murphy, though.
Starting point, what do you think? Where do you think it's at?
I would say roughly 15? Probably 14.
14, 15?
Yeah, I would say roughly 14.
Who signs first?
Murphy or Carlton Davis?
Yeah.
I've been hearing about teams being in love with Carlton Davis all season. Like, teams been already cherry-picking Carlton Davis all season.
I think he played well for you guys.
Yeah, he was. He gave up some plays. He did, but he always bounced back and made plays. He was a big reason why we came back and won that Texan game. He had 2 huge interceptions in the third quarter of that game.
Hey, I will say this, though, real quick. My favorite, defensive player that's non-Raider is Brian Branch. That dude is he's a beast.
Should have drafted him.
Should have drafted him. I know. I wanted them to.
No, I think we the Lions had no idea. Listen, some players you don't get credit for drafting. Sometimes players just fall right into your lap and you just can't be stupid enough to not take them. Branch had no business being in the third round, bro. It's idiotic that man was a third round pick, all because of a 4, 5, 6.
Yep. He a beast, bro. So you guys got a good one there.
Yeah, I just think, man, you're going through these Zach Wilson, 25 years old. Jonathan Jones, cornerback from the Patriots, 31. Mike Williams, a guy who super talented, just super inconsistent and can't stay healthy. Now, at the age he's at, the stage in his career, is Mike Williams worth 13, 14? Because I think the ticket on him is gone down significantly. Since
I don't think it's worth that much.
But he's like another DJ Chark, like y'all those 6'3", 6'4", downfield, make all those big plays kind of receivers, but I can't count on you consistently because you're always in the doctor's office.
I forget about DJ.
DJ Chark. Hey, Trey Lance. Go get him. He's only 24 years old.
No. All right, move on.
Oh yeah, Trey Lance. Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, the guy that they traded 3 picks for,
Man,
Niners did, and people
Trey
forgot about
Lance.
it, and they should
That
have
was
been
a
fired
good
over
one,
that.
Walt. Trey
Yeah,
Lance.
that Trey
yeah,
Lance.
man. Listen, you got Levante David, you got Jeff Okuda,
How quickly they
Yeah.
forget.
Dre Greenlaw, Jacoby Brissett.
I
I
like
like
Dre.
Greenlaw too. I like him. 27 years old. That's the guy. That was the other guy on my list too, Walt. He was like the last guy I had. You know what I'm saying? I think he's
Yeah,
got a lot of football left. Obviously him getting hurt, put a halt to some stuff. But yeah, I think but San Fran might bring him back though. I mean, it's
No,
he
he
wants
wants
to
to
be
be
out of there.
he wants to be linebacker number 1.
Okay,
So
okay, yeah, because I could see,
yeah, I don't think he's coming back.
man, I could see Drake Greenlaw in this division. In the North, one of these teams. I think all three of these teams might afford. Well, maybe not the Packers so much, but Bears, the Vikings, and the Lions could use his services, in my opinion. So
yeah. Justin Simmons signed that 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. 31 years old,
No,
still a really good player.
I think
mhm.
I think he played
Yep,
well.
I
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
he a victim of playing that
I,
position, bro. They just ignore that position when it comes to financial compensation.
um,
Marquise Hollywood,
I think yeah,
Hollywood
no,
Brown,
yeah. I'm out on
no,
him. I'm
I
out on
pass on
him.
him.
Stephon Gilmore still holding on. 34 years old, year 13.
Go back to
Mhm.
Minnesota.
Yeah, we had his brother on our roster, didn't we?
Playing the
His
Right.
brain
brother was
close.
on our preseason roster, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, go back and stay Minnesota. Play another year, man. You played good under Brian Flores.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we being honest about it though, the list start getting kind of scarce. Marcus Davenport, I'm in favor of bringing Marcus Davenport back simply
Yeah,
because
me too.
there's no financial risk. You're not paying him much. I think he had a base salary of 2.5 million last year. So what's the harm
Hmm.
in bringing him back? People say, well, he didn't get enough sacks. I get it, but he
The,
was great against the
the
run though.
the biggest issue with you guys that you had last season was
Yeah,
injuries. Injuries was the biggest factor of the guys not playing well in some games, even though you guys only had 2 losses. So
yeah,
it was injuries.
yeah. How do you feel about bringing back Marcus Davenport?
Me?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I'm lockstep with you. As far as just a play, I'm not even talking about the financial part. That makes it better. The financial commitment's not that great. It's not going to really hurt us. But I just think he's got the perfect skill set for what this team did last year. Now, again, remember we got a new defensive coordinator, and his philosophy may change. But the bottom line is, obviously, we still got to get pressure on the quarterback. And what him and Aiden Hutchinson just seemed like that was a good combination, man. They're just playing off each other for the couple games they did. You know what I'm saying? As far as the size, I like length coming off the edge. He's got the big, strong guy. Pushes. He's always got the right leverage. You know what I'm saying? He's always been a good, productive player when he's healthy. When he's healthy, that's the big thing.
yeah,
He did have before last year, he warranted getting picked up by the Lions because we seen him. He played with the Vikings, had pretty good, tenure with the Vikings. So the combination of size, coming off the edge with his quickness, got a good bend still. I just think I like Marcus Davenport. I really do. I think that he's a guy that can benefit. Man, I'd just like to try one more time, man. One more go round. I know he's got a history of can't stay healthy. I'd rather I'd rather try that among a lot of things that we keep trying with the same players. With him, I'm
yeah,
willing to do it one more time to see if it's something there. If we can unlock something, you know what I'm saying? And then biggest part of him staying healthy.
yeah. Um, we done had these people for an hour and 33 minutes, but I do want to get into one more player, man. This was strange to me, man, because this dude wasn't too far removed, and he only 25 years old. He was only not too far removed, maybe a year and a half, 2 years from playing like really, really good football, man. And that's offensive tackle Jedrick Wills from the Cleveland Browns.
Mm.
25 years old, man. Not gonna have to pay him too much. Now, the market for Jedrick being a talented former first round offensive tackle, not too far removed from playing really good football. There'll probably be teams out there that will overbid or outbid the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the first names I'm gonna call because even though I see it for what it is, Decker is probably 1 year away, maybe 2 years at the most from being gone. You can play Jedrick Wills. You can kick Jedrick Wills. Jedrick Wills. Why did they name this man that? Jedrick Wills. You can always kick Jedrick in to left guard if you want, or right guard, depending on where you want to move Mahogany to for 1 year or so. And you're talking about potentially, if you can get this guy back. I don't know what happened. I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan. I don't follow them like that. So I don't know what the issue was with Jedrick Wills this season. But you
Was
have the
he?
potential of getting that same. If you can get that former first round pick play out of him again with
Yeah.
Penei Sewell, both of these guys under the age of 27 years old, that's like getting an extra first round pick. Honestly,
Was he in the same draft class as Tristan Wirfs?
I believe so. Because Jedrick came out of
Because
Iowa,
they're
wasn't
kind.
it? No,
Yeah.
it was Tristan Iowa. One of them was Bama, and the other one was
Because I
Iowa.
just remember they were neck and neck.
Yeah.
Because people kept comparing them, and which one would you draft and whatnot. So, man, that's odd. They're not gonna bring him back. But
Yeah.
they got cap issues, I'm sure, with the whole Deshaun Watson thing and whatnot. I mean, look, he's young still, man. Yeah, you're right. Probably give him a call if you need offensive lineman help. Definitely could help you guys out. Definitely could help us out.
Yeah, especially if you can get him back on track. Only being
Yeah.
25 years old, you can get him back to playing elite football. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys should definitely give him a call. The Raiders should too. I think he's gonna have a market for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Mekhi Becton's another guy. Went to the Philadelphia Eagles, resurrected his career, stayed healthy for the most part. Maybe he can go out there and get himself some money. Or he may say, you know what, I'm happy in Philadelphia. Going from the Jets to the Eagles is like, oh boy. So I know he got to be happy there too. But I'm not so sure about Becton. They kicked him inside the guard. But I mean, maybe he's another guy that's worth it if you Brad Holmes. Now for us, we've seen enough injured players. Granted, he was good this season for the most part. I don't know if we necessarily want to go that route, but Ashanti, what do you think of Jedrick Wills or any other offensive lineman you may have on that free agent list?
Yeah, I totally agree. I couldn't believe it's fun. It's weird that he's not even. He wasn't
It
even
was
on
weird
the
to me too when I was
that
going
he
through the
didn't
list
have.
yesterday.
Yeah, that he's not on the.
Honestly, I didn't see him on the list.
Yeah, he's not even on. That's what I said. It's crazy. But you know how I feel about linemen. Did this guy here, man? I don't think. First of all, if he is out there, he's going to command the money. I don't think that the Lions can make that commitment right now to pay
Yeah,
the
he's
money. He's
unrestricted
going to unrestricted.
on
Okay.
spot track.
Yeah. So yeah, I like Jeter Wills a lot. I think that he's absolutely a guy you might want to take a look at. But
He's
like I
young,
said,
man. He's still super
yeah,
young.
the young his age and his ability to still play is just going to command. I think more is too rich for our blood right now. But yeah, I can't believe he's out there. He definitely.
Yeah.
Teams like Washington, who's got a lot of cap space, well documented. I think they got what is it, 60 something million in salary cap space that you can sign him. They need offensive line help. I mean,
Houston too.
up Houston, it make more sense, for him.
Cincinnati, but they don't pay
Cincinnati.
anybody.
I think his bags his locker already cleaned out. With the Brown, I don't think he had no intention on coming back there. So definitely that's something to watch here while free agency and the draft and the combine process unfolds. So yeah, guys, the free agency period is coming up, man. You know what I'm saying? This is this is a very important part of an NFL season. Just think about what the Eagles did signing Zach Bond last year to a 1-year deal. Lions signing players like DJ Reader, Carlton Davis. So I think that, for me, it is important. Free agency is important. It's not, these are deals that you make to enhance your team. Maybe you may need help at a position. I think that's more so the draft's job to take care of your super weaknesses and things that that causes you to have your shortcomings. I think free agency is just like the cherry on top to me. It's always like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, obviously, yeah, we got Carlton Davis, but we went into it, okay, with a plan. Like Brad said, okay, he knew he was going to take Terry Arnold in hindsight. You know what I'm saying? They knew who they wanted. You know, if this A, B, and C happened, they signed Carlton Davis and wound up essentially taking Terry Arnold. Now, is this a precursor to maybe getting that defensive lineman, signing one guy like an Ojolari is what I'm hearing, and then parlaying that into Mike Green from Marshall. I'm just, it just
Yeah.
seems like Brad Holmes has had a pattern where he bolsters up a certain uh, area of the team and it starts a free agency, sort of like what he does in the draft, whatever he does in free agency. So,
Yeah, I think it's just so hard to tell for us because Aaron Glenn's gone now. So in theory, we have no idea what they plan on doing, what type of conversations they're having in those defensive meetings about, okay, you know what? I want to keep X, Y, and Z, but I want to toss out A and B from the philosophies of the defense. Are they going to go from the 4-2-5 to playing more 4-4 fronts, which I think they should probably do, just being honest, simply because out of that 4-2-5 with the 4-4 fronts, there's so much more versatility. And if you look at a lot of these undersized linebackers, a lot of these undersized edge rushers, so to speak, James Pierce, and we're going to get into James Pierce from Tennessee in probably the next show. That's a guy that's very, very light. We had conversations about Will Anderson a year ago. There were questions about whether or not he could play with his hand in the dirt. He was powerful enough, strong enough, explosive enough. Will Anderson is a lot better put together than James Pierce. So a big question I've had for James Pierce the last couple of years is, okay, is he only a 3-4 weak side? Is he a guy that you run the risk of a 4-3 team drafting him or a 4-2-5 team drafting him and trying to put his hands in the dirt and washing him out? That's the only question I have about him. But getting back to what I was initially, the point I was trying to make about not knowing exactly what the defensive changes are going to bring. They may be looking at, like you said, Mike Green from Marshall. They may be looking at smallish edge rushers now. Like, you know what? We talking about Davenport 6'6", 270. They might be looking at going in the direction of 6'2", 230, a 6'2", 245 or whatever. So I think it's good because we covering edge rushers and defensive linemen, defensive tackles in general from all different angles. The 6'2", 280 guys, the 6'6", 270 guys, the 6'3", 310 guys, because right now we have no idea defensively what this team wants to really do heading into 2025. But Fidel, y'all got one damn good player on y'all defense. Actually, I like the linebacker too. Y'all got to bring him back also. I forgot his name, but you know his name better than I do.
Robert
But
Splay.
yeah. Y'all hit on him. Hit on him for damn sure. Can you, for Lions fans, before we get out of here today, put this Max Crosby talk to rest? Or are you going to pour
It's not
gasoline on him?
happening. No, it's not happening. He's going to get a new contract. He's had conversations with the new coaching staff. Pete Carroll, he says that he feels better. This is probably the best he's felt about the situation since he's been with the Raiders. So he's not going to get traded. He's not going to Detroit. I know he's from Michigan. He went to Eastern Michigan. There's a lot of connections, right? But he's not going there, right? So you can just put that to bed. He'll get a new contract. He'll get new money. And he's going to be a Raider. And hopefully a Raider for life.
Why would you wish that on that man? You take
Just the
that
way
back.
he is, man. He's just a Raider, bro. I don't take nothing back, bro. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
He's a Raider for life.
That's right.
I guess, man. I don't know. When it comes to
the man got a tattoo on his arm, bro. You think he want to leave?
I don't think he wants to, but Brandon Graham, when he went to the Eagles, planned on being an Eagle for life, but the Eagles also won a lot since he's been there, and he had no reason to really want to leave. So, I mean, losing weighs on players, man.
Did you see that Josh Jacobs wanted to stay with the Raiders? Did you see that? The 8 teams offered him more money. He asked them to meet him in the middle. And what did Tom Telesco do? He said no.
What are they loyal to? It don't seem like
that's why his ass got fired.
It don't seem like Devontae was doing all that though. He wasn't fighting to stay.
Yeah. Hey, boy, hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. He was the one that was advocating for Antonio Pierce. Him and Max Crosby.
Y'all sold him a dream.
Hold on. He sold Mark Davis a dream. Hey, we want to keep
Y'all
him
sold
here,
him that they was getting
right?
Stroud.
You know why? Because he's a player's coach. But guess what? Sometimes that doesn't work out. So now, to me, we have stability with Pete. Hopefully, for the next 2 to 3
What was
years.
that?
Right?
What was that receiver? What was that receiver y'all took?
Antonio Brown.
No. Darius Haywood Bay. Remember Darius Haywood Bay?
Yeah. Hey,
Was he even
all right?
No, he didn't.
Career.
He lying.
He played with the Raiders.
You
and
not
he
come
went
on
with
here and lie to our viewers, man.
Oh, man.
Come on, I'm just saying. The reason why they took him, I think was he the fastest player?
No, but he was a track and field guy coming out of Maryland.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's all Davis like.
They passed on Crabtree, wasn't it?
They passed on multiple people. They passed on Larry Fitzgerald. They passed on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we can go down the list, man, if you really want to. They passed on Derrick Henry. I mean, there's a lot of players that this team has, passed by, and
I need a running back too.
So that's what I'm saying. We had one, and then GM didn't want to meet him halfway. Apparently,
what if y'all got your quarterback, somehow traded into the first round and got Anson Genty?
I don't think he's going to be there in the late picks in the first round. To be honest with you,
I think the Bears going to take Anson Genty, man. I just got a feeling Ben Johnson wants his next Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think whoever takes that kid, man, gonna. I keep saying he's too small or this or that. I don't. I think Anson Genty's a player, man. You know what I'm
saying? What pick do the Bears have?
Oh boy, I want to say they in the top 10. I want to say I pull it up.
I know Raiders got 6.
Let's see. Yeah. Draft order.
So if he's there and the Raiders are at 6, so you draft him, I think, and then you take your chances second round drafting a quarterback.
Somebody gonna draft him that's not projected to draft him. Somebody gonna draft him. It's just the draft is weird, man, because everybody's got these lockstep, concrete decisions that they're top 10. Yeah, the Bears got the 10th pick.
All right, there we go. Yeah, we don't have to worry about the Bears then. If the Raiders want them, they'll draft them at 6.
So yeah, because the Cowboys could get them to at 12, and maybe Miami, but it's just something happens in the top 10 every year. Every year.
Hey, last year with Brock Bowers being drafted by the Raiders.
Right. I mean that
no one was expecting Brock to be there,
and every year it just seems like somebody just reaches for. I remember it was a year, I think was when Andrew Thomas got took early. I think when the Giants took Andrew Thomas, and it was sort of like just everybody draft boards was just in shambles after that. So yeah, I mean, it's this. Listen, y'all know this. The listeners know it. Everybody do the research. This draft loaded on the defensive end. I think this year. I think that this will benefit the Lions on a year where you need. I always hate to say cheap players because they're not cheap, but it's just this benefits when you can build your team through the draft. And the Chiefs have been doing it. Obviously recently the Eagles have been doing it, and so that's why I think it key positions. When you have like Cincinnati and with Joe Burrow and that situation is a mess, man. But they have to draft well to kind of offset, those contracts and let some years come off those contract deals. You know what I'm saying? And the Lions aren't there yet. I mean, we can still afford to pay some guys and then, maybe get a free agent or two. But yeah, the draft is key. Free agent is key. But I think that the Lions would maybe, if you want to get a guy, you may get one, and then the draft is going to be what we do to build this team back up, defensively. So
I agree 1,000%. I mean, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, the draft is what kept that organization alive the last 3 years. Getting rid of Tyreek Hill, deciding that you didn't want to pay him, and ultimately Tyreek Hill got way more money from Miami than what he actually was asking Kansas City for. Like, he wasn't trying to necessarily just break the bank from him, but they got rid of him. They got the draft compensation for Tyreek. on top of the picks they already had. They got Humphreys, they got Trey Smith, they got over the past few years for that matter. They got
Zay Pacheco.
They wound up getting Nick Bolton middle rounds of the draft. They got
He a
Leo
free agent.
Chenal.
He a free agent, Walt. If I'm not mistaken, y'all.
Nick Bolton?
Nick Bolton's a free agent.
Yeah.
He is.
Oh.
Yep.
But he's another guy that's going to have to go to the right defensive scheme because he's not a coverage linebacker. He's not a 3-down linebacker.
Yeah.
And they gave Travis Kelce to till March 15th to tell him he's going to come back or not.
Oh.
I think it's probably done, though.
Yeah.
It should have been drafted another damn tight end. First of
Yeah.
all. All right. Man, we done had these people for almost 2 hours. Fidel, man, I want to thank you for getting up early on this Saturday morning. We like to do it earlier, but Fidel likes to. He's a person that likes to sleep past 6 o'clock.
Nah, he
on the
cut him
West
some
Coast,
slack,
man.
man. He on the West Coast, man. Fidel, our guy, man. Love
Man,
Fidel.
change your time.
Yeah.
Fidel family
Man,
around
appreciate
here,
it, man.
man.
Love you guys
Just, you
too.
always,
Yes,
you
sir.
always
Thank you.
welcome, bro. Just like you, like
Thank
you, Lamar. You know, y'all like other co-hosts. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So
Yeah, I appreciate it,
excellent
man.
knowledge,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate you a lot. So that's all I want to say. Well, I'm sorry.
All right.
I mean, cut you off. Yeah.
Appreciate
Fidel,
it, man.
anything
Thank
you want to let these people know?
Yes,
How
sir.
can they find you?
Fidel Talks NFL, Instagram, Twitter, or X. I'm sorry. Instagram, Inside the Pylon podcast. Hopefully, we'll having some new content very soon. I know as the closer as we get to the draft, we're going to be talking to a lot of these college prospects. So yeah, just looking forward to it. And thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for letting me sleep in a little bit.
Everyone out there, enjoy your Saturday. One Pride.